Welcome to Sports Talk with L-Beasley. It is actually Sunday night or like Monday morning because it's like midnight here in Detroit, Michigan for me. Just got done watching my Detroit Tigers get swept in the World Series. So, once again, congratulations to those San Francisco Giants on winning the World Series. Nothing against them. They played well. Basically, they did what they were supposed to do. For the Detroit Tigers, oh well, I mean, it's not the first time I've seen it. You guys did it against the Cardinals not too long ago, so not the first time I've seen it. But hopefully you learn from the experience and you get back to the World Series and hopefully you can win it all. At the end of the day, your point is to go there and win, not just go there and say that you've been there. But moving on. Besides that, generally, my Monday episode is something that I do kind of to just recap on college football, NFL, but I can't necessarily do that this time because some things went down in the NBA that caused a big stir. There was some big things that went down in college football, and then obviously there's some big things that went down in the NFL. So I'll start off with what went down in the NBA. James Harden is a Houston Rocket. Now, for some, this was a big surprise. For others, it was not a surprise. But basically, James Harden turned down a 4-year contract extension with the Oklahoma City Thunder for $52 million, $53 million. Those figures kind of jumped around. 52, 53, 54 was the most I heard, but I'm sticking with 52. But pretty much he turned down a 4-year contract extension with the Thunder, which was once again 52 mil, and then pretty much he was traded to the Houston Rockets. And basically, if you don't already know, the Houston Rockets get James Harden, they get Cole Aldrich, they get Lazar Hayward, and they also get Daquan Cook. The Thunder get Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, and future draft picks. And those future draft picks are 2013 first-round picks from Dallas and Toronto that Houston Rockets had. My thoughts on this, first off, I'm not surprised that James Harden, when he turned down the contract extension, he made it very clear he wanted the max, which was 60. And the Thunder apparently felt like that wasn't something they wanted to do, and they wanted to protect themselves as far as getting rid of him and getting something in return, which I can totally respect. That's what you definitely never want to lose a player like James Harden and get nothing for him just because you didn't want to give him the contract and then you let him go to free agency. You don't get anything. So I understand that point. And even as far as just James Harden leaving because of money. Some people saw it as betrayal or, money's more important than a ring or this. That's his business. The NBA is a business. I'm not one to, quite frankly, no offense to any athlete. I was an athlete, but, none of y'all should be getting paid as much to do what y'all do. No offense. Like I said, I love athletes. I am an athlete, but I've never been one who's, especially as women since we get underpaid. But, as far as the athletes go, I'm not happy with anybody's contract, whether it's 100 mil, 60 mil, 20 mil, I'm not happy with anybody's contract. So, that being said, but that's his business. If he wants to leave, if he wants to go, that he gets his money, he gets a chance to be a star again. He hasn't truly been a star of a team since college when he played for Arizona State. So this is his chance to lead a team, to be that leader. And that's something that Houston needs. They need somebody to step up and be that leader. And hopefully James Harden can be that guy. He can help lend as far as creating offense because that's something that James Harden was able to do well. But at the end of the day, I don't have much thoughts on that part. But just as far as the trade itself, some people said Oklahoma City lost in this trade. I don't feel that that's true. Speaking right now, you get Kevin Martin and you get Jeremy Lamb. Those are two players that you can use. Kevin Martin, is he James Harden? No. But he's a shooter. He's going to give you another shooter that you may be losing, a player like Daquan Cook. He's not the slasher that James Harden is, and he isn't the creator. But he is a scorer. He's going to get you points. He gives you somebody other than Kevin Durant. And once again, since you did give away Daquan Cook, he gives you somebody you can pop it out to on the outside who can shoot the ball. Jeremy Lamb is a nice young guy who I think is going to complement Perry Jones, who they got in the draft. This is an athletic wing who's going to learn a lot from players like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and even Kevin Martin. And hopefully him and Perry can be that dynamic duo in the future. And then just speaking, future-wise, Oklahoma City got 2 first-round picks in next year's draft. Speaking future-wise, even if let's say they do have a down year just because they got rid of Harden or whoever, even if they do have a down year, looking towards the future, now you have a chance to go get 2 other star players to build around Kevin Durant, to build around Westbrook, to build around Perry Jones and all these other different guys. So at the end of the day, this is what you're looking for. So I don't see this being a bad trade. I mean, obviously, like I said, this is all. I never like to talk about trade until you see what happens. I mean, the season hasn't even started. Let's see them play. Let's see the chemistry first. I'm not gonna go crazy and say they're gonna suck. I'm not gonna say that the Lakers got this, because when Miami first formed, everybody said Miami got this. That wasn't the case. They had to wait a whole nother year just to get it going. So I'm not gonna say they got this, or that the Lakers got this, or Oklahoma City's done. You gotta wait and see. No reason to really truly speculate. But just going off what I've seen, I think this could still be a nice move for Oklahoma City. It's going to be an adjustment, but what trade isn't an adjustment? Whether it's a good adjustment or a bad adjustment. As far as the Houston Rockets, like I said, this gives them a chance to get that leader that they've been seeking. James Harden, it'll be interesting if he's willing to step up to that role. Because that's one thing, Oklahoma City, he didn't necessarily have to do that. That wasn't his main role. He didn't have to be that leader. But on Houston, they need somebody to be that leader. Whether it could Jeremy Lin, Chandler Parsons, whoever. They need somebody to step up and be that leader. And maybe James Harden can be that. And once again, this is his chance to show everybody that he's a star caliber player who can lead the team. He can be that creator. Once again, let's say if Jeremy Lin cannot. I think Jeremy Lin can be. I just hope he can do it without all the turnovers that he had in New York. But that's something that, he brings to the game. He's somebody Jeremy Lin can count on to score, but also somebody that Houston Rockets just can count on to go out and create opportunities and whatnot. But, we're going to see how this Houston team is. This Houston team is young. They definitely have some possibilities in the future, but until we, like I said, officially see these teams and players play together, there's no reason to start thinking that either team, if not both teams, are going to be successful or suck. Let's just wait and see. Like I said, season didn't even start yet. We haven't seen any of these players play together yet, so let's not get crazy. But those are just my thoughts on that particular trade. Agree with it, disagree with it, I'll probably discuss it more as the week goes on. Some other things that are going on in the world of sports. College football was real interesting this week, mainly due to the fact that the running back Marcus Lattimore for South Carolina suffered a horrific, gruesome injury. According to multiple reports, he broke his femur and tore all 4 ligaments in his knee, which is the ACL, the MCL, the LCL, and the PCL. Huge blow to this kid. This guy just came off of last year's injury, which was gruesome. And this was just sad to see. I never want to see any player get hurt. Like I tore my ACL along with my meniscus. I've had plenty of other injuries from bruised rotator cuffs in my shoulder. I mean, I've had injuries, and you never want to see anybody get hurt, especially something like that gruesome. It's just sad to hear. Like I said, this is a great player. From what I hear, a great student. Also, just a great person all around from people who just told me they've spoken to him or interviewed him. But this is just sad to see. This is somebody who had a bright future. Once again, coming off a huge injury from last season, has done a lot for his team, and it's just unfortunate. We don't really know what his status is going to be. I always remain hopeful, and I'm a Christian, so it's always in God's hands. But hopefully he'll be able to get the surgery, rehab, and be able to possibly have a chance of playing in the NFL. If not, hopefully he'll find his way, whether it's through coaching, whether it's through mentoring, whether it's through getting his degree and doing something totally different outside of football or sports. So I'm just wishing him all the best, his family. Like I said, you never wish to see this on anybody. Just, like I said, very unfortunate. Like I said, it was gruesome. I actually saw the injury. For those who haven't seen, you can look it up on YouTube if you can stomach it. But it looked painful. I feel for him. But like I said, he just has to stay positive, keep the faith, and everything's going to work out. I believe everything's going to work out for him. And hopefully, he'll be okay and he'll have his chance. But like I said, if not, hopefully he finds his way, even if it is outside of football. So, good luck to you, Marcus Lattimore. Like I said, sorry about the injury, man. Definitely feeling for you. But, you're going to pull out. Just keep doing you and just keep praying, and everything's going to be all right, man. Just keep doing that. You'll be all right. But just moving on to some other things that went on in college football. Notre Dame beat Oklahoma 30-13. Very impressed with Notre Dame. I think more so defensively. I think that's been the main thing with Notre Dame is just defensively their ability to stop these pretty legit offenses. I feel, from scoring. Starting off with Michigan, and then obviously you had Oklahoma. I mean, I'm being very impressed. Is it still safe to say that Notre Dame is back? I'm not fully there yet. I mean, I still think that they are there. It's just, I don't know. And I mean, they're 8-0, so I'm not knocking that. They're 8-0. Notre Dame is an elite team, no question right now in college football. You know, they keep playing this way. They might even be able to have a national championship bid. You never know. But, you know, that was a real interesting game to watch. But I'm more impressed with them defensively than anything. Alabama blew out Mississippi State, so Mississippi State is no longer undefeated. You know, Alabama's just on a totally different level this year. You know, I've constantly said that. That's why I don't really talk about them much, because to me they're just on that, not an unbeatable level, because any team is beatable at any point in time, but just on a totally different level as far as just what they come into the game to do. They execute nonstop, and it's going to be real interesting when they play LSU this season and just see, you know, obviously it's looking like they're going to a national championship right now, but if they do, just seeing what they do there and who they're going to have to face. The other big game was Arizona versus USC. Arizona won against USC 39-36. I more or less was looking at this game from an Oregon standpoint, because Oregon has to face USC next, and even if Oregon wins, these losses that USC has gained are hurting them, you know, because Oregon needs USC to have wins. You know, when you're talking about conference schedule and, you know, the strength of that schedule, you know, that's one of the reasons we've constantly said Bama almost can't afford to lose, because they didn't have a tough schedule like they have had in past years. And Oregon is a little bit in that same boat. They need teams like USC to be on a pretty high level, so that when they do beat them, you know, speaking, you know, positive for Oregon, if they do win, that it looks good. It's not just saying, well, you're not the only team, like 3 other teams beat USC. So from an Oregon standpoint, you know, obviously they're still undefeated. They blew out Colorado 70-14. But from an Oregon perspective, looking at this USC game, they need USC to have wins. But Oregon still needs to come in this game ready to play. USC is going to be looking to gain their edge back and definitely end Oregon's unbeaten streak. You know, so definitely looking forward to this game. It's going to be a great game. Some other things that just went down, obviously, my Michigan Wolverines got their butt beat by the Nebraska Cornhuskers. The thing about this game for me, from a Michigan fan perspective, you know, Denard Robinson not being in the game changed everything. From an execution standpoint, not to say if he would have been there, it would have been better execution, because we really don't know. But Bellamy, Russell Bellamy, the quarterback who came in for Michigan, just, you know, 3 of 16. He only completed 3 passing attempts out of his 16. He only completed 3 passes, out of his 16 passing attempts for 38 yards. He had 3 interceptions to end the game. Just no execution. From what I saw, half of it was him. Half of it was the offensive line, who I feel like has played mediocre this entire season anyway. You know, Nebraska defense pretty much knew the minute Denard was hurt, they could blitz this kid and, you know, send a kid into this type of situation, unfortunately, where he's never played except maybe once. You know, he just wasn't prepared. He didn't look comfortable. The receivers a couple times were dropping passes. I mean, it looks like the whole team just deflated off of Denard being hurt. And moving on, you know, Denard suffered a nerve injury in his elbow, apparently, where he didn't feel comfortable gripping the ball and being able to hold on to it and throw it. So looking towards, you know, next week and just the rest of the season, that's an area of concern. And the big question has been, do you go back and get Devin Gardner at this point? Because, you know, Devin Gardner, for those who don't know, came in and was recruited as a quarterback out of Inkster High School, which is here in Michigan, not Detroit, Michigan, but it's here in Michigan. He was recruited as a quarterback, but then this year they moved him to receiver, and he's been decent at that position, you know, giving us some height and some athleticism, but quarterback has been the position that he's played pretty much his entire high school career. So some people have felt like they need to move Devin Gardner there if Robinson is not able to come back and play at that position. My only question with Gardner would be his knowledge of the playbook. You know, the knowledge of the playbook as a receiver and a quarterback can be totally different, you know, and that's really my big thing. I don't have a problem if they move Devin Gardner. I mean, I've always wanted Devin Gardner to get a shot anyway, because I'm pretty confident once Shane Morris, the quarterback of the class of 2013 that Michigan has committed, I'm pretty sure he's going to be the starting quarterback, or he's going to earn the starting quarterback position. So I wouldn't mind seeing Devin Gardner get the opportunity if that's what Brady Hoke wants to do, but I know Brady Hoke has faith in Bellamy. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything until we find out if Robinson's going to be able to play next week or for the rest of the season, for that matter. But just speaking on the Devin Gardner, Russell Bellamy situation, I don't have a problem with it. That was my question. Does Devin Gardner have complete knowledge of that playbook like he did when he was a quarterback? And I'm sure he does. He's Devin Gardner, but just curious about that. The Michigan State Spartans, they won in a close game against Wisconsin. Basically, Andrew Maxwell was able to connect with Benny Fowler for a clutch touchdown win. Nothing against that. Wisconsin, you got to close out. It's no different than any other team who Michigan State has come back to win. If you don't close out, Michigan State is going to make you pay for it. They beat you in OT. You got to close out Wisconsin. As for Michigan State, hey, win's a win. I'm never going to take that away from you unless you blatantly cheat, as I've said so many times. It's just ironic that Benny Fowler, the guy who couldn't catch a cold, catches the game-winning pass. But hey, at least you're doing your job. Can't get mad at that. And then just going on to the NFL, plenty of other things to talk about as far as that goes. Some interesting games went on. The Bears barely beat the Panthers. They win with a game-winning field goal. It was just really nice to see the Panthers fight, personally, for me. With everything that they've gone through, the firing of the GM, the Cam Newton questions, just the team questions, period, about Carolina. With them being 1-6 this year, it was just great to see them fight. And as far as the Bears, you did what you were supposed to do at the end. You almost pulled the Detroit Lions, really. I mean, you only scored one touchdown out of the 3 quarters, and then you scored 16 points in the 4th quarter. So you almost kind of pulled the Detroit Lions. San Diego Chargers, just sit down somewhere. I mean, 3 or 4th. Phillip Rivers apparently can't throw touchdowns, let alone keep the ball from being turned over. They lose to the Browns, give them 2 wins to their record. So they lose to the Browns 7-6. Chargers need to sit down somewhere. Quit putting them on my national television screen. I got to keep watching them on national television. The Packers beat the Jaguars 24-15. Not surprised. I wasn't expecting the Jaguars to come in there and really win that game. Colts come and beat the Titans. Close game, but once again, Andrew Luck is able to lead his team down in the clutch and get a win. Patriots just annihilated the Rams in the overseas game that took place in New England. At least the Rams can say they were there. That's all I got to say. Gronkowski played a great game. Tom Brady played a great game, throwing for over 300 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Looked great. The Jets just, learn how to play some defense and learn how to, score apparently, because you only had a field goal. Shoot, I think that's all you scored was all y'all scored. Shoot, y'all had, I think, maybe 1 touchdown, and I think the rest of everything else was a field goal because it was 30-9. So at the end of the day, Jets, y'all really need to figure out what's wrong with this offense and learn how to score, because this is getting sickening. The Steelers versus the Redskins. Steelers end up beating the Redskins 27-12. RG3, as I said many times, he needs help. He can't do it by himself. Receivers are dropping passes. No help from the running game off of 13 carries. Only had 59 yards. That's Morris for the Redskins. Just horrible offensive execution. Got to help your quarterback out. He's doing everything he can to put you guys in a position to win. You got to help him out with the catches in the running game. No question about it. The other game that went down, the Giants and the Cowboys, was a big talked about game. Giants, as I said before, is Eli playing at a great level? Yes, he is. But as I've said so many times, I noticed that the Giants don't know how to capitalize when they need to. They did that against Carolina early in the season. I constantly kept saying when, Giants defense plays well, but they also leave the door open by not executing offensively instead of settling for a lot of field goals or not scoring at all. And it allowed the Cowboys to come back and, that Dez Bryant catch that was called not a touchdown. I agree with the call. His fingertips were outbound. That's just the way the rules are. But that was just a hell of a catch. I tweeted that. That was a hell of a catch. Whether it's a touchdown or not, that's a hell of a catch. And that's a hell of an effort by Dez Bryant. That's what you got him for. Hopefully he'll carry that type of play on. But, stay in bounds. Broncos to beat the Saints. No big surprise. Defense played great. The offense played great. It finally looks like Manning is, the only thing I have a problem with Manning is just his arm strength. That's something that's going to have hopefully evolve, but it looks like the defense is finally going off Manning's intensity, which is good to see. The Falcons beat the Eagles, and everybody keeps asking me, are the Falcons for real? Because they're 7-0, they're 4-0 away, but, they're 7-0, period. My whole thing with the Falcons is they're playing great, no question, but this is not the first time the Falcons have played great. This is the first time they've been undefeated maybe for this long, but this is not the first time that they've played great. As I've said so many times about the Falcons, let's see what you do in the playoffs. I've picked Falcons the last couple of years to do something in the playoffs, and they can't even get past the first round. I'm just saying. I'm calling it like I see it. If you don't agree with it, I don't care. I'm just saying, let's see what they do in the playoffs. I like the Falcons. I do. But show me something in the playoffs. Show me you can get past the first round. Because y'all do this all the time and have everybody all hyped up. Oh, the Falcons look pretty good. They look solid. Then you get in the playoffs and you don't do anything. So I'm hoping that it is for real. Like I said, I like what they're doing. I like Matt Ryan, the quarterback. I liked him in college. I like what Rodgers is doing as far as rushing. And I like the receivers. I like Julio. I think that's one of the good things about this team now. They got Julio healthy again. So, you know what I mean? It's good to see the Falcons doing well, but I'm not going crazy over it. And then, of course, my hometown Lions ended up beating the Seattle Seahawks 28-24. Everybody wanted to know my thoughts on this game. For the first time, I can say I truly respect this comeback win that the Lions put together. And I'm still not exactly happy with the comeback, but at the end of the day, this is the Lions I do not mind making a comeback. Seattle is a solid team. If there's any team that we should struggle with and, definitely have to maybe even make a comeback against, it's Seattle. I don't have a problem with that. It's not like Seattle's weak. But the reason the Lions won this game, and I said this on Twitter, I said this on Facebook, they did everything that I said they need to do. First, I said they need to find a balance. That's what they did. They ran the ball. They passed the ball. It wasn't passing too much. It wasn't running too much. Players stepped up. As I said so many times, quarterback has to step up. Yeah, that's true. Matthew Stafford has not played well. But at the same time, his receivers have to step up. His offensive line has to step up. Scott Linehan, as the play caller and the offensive coordinator, has to step up. Those were the things that I was looking for. And that's exactly what happened. Ryan Broyles stepped up. Titus Young stepped up huge, having 2 touchdowns. And I think he had a total of, 100 yards receiving. He stepped up. Brandon Pettigrew stepped up. Tony Scheffler stepped up. Those were the things that the Lions needed to do offensively, and that's what I constantly kept saying. If you find the balance and everybody steps up and plays their part, there's no reason why this team can't play like this all the time. They also came out and executed for 4 quarters. They literally had a touchdown or some type of score in every quarter except the third quarter. And even Seattle didn't score in the third quarter. And that's what the Lions need to do. They had to make a comeback, but it wasn't as hard as a comeback as usual because they've been scoring. And that's what the Lions need to do on a consistent basis. I like the play calling once again by Scott Linehan doing some play action. I like Matthew Stafford movement in the pocket. He just looked more comfortable. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was being back at home, which if that's the case, well, you need to get over that because we're going to be on the road some more. So at the end of the day, Stafford looked good. He looked comfortable. He was throwing laser passes, the laser passes I'm used to seeing. And like I said, I always said, this is to me Stafford's sophomore year because those other years when he was here, when he should have had his sophomore year, he was hurt. Last year was his first year being healthy, so he might as well have been a rookie. And then this is his sophomore year. So he's having his sophomore year struggles just like Cam Newton is having his, just like Josh Freeman had his, and other quarterbacks before him have had theirs. So this is his sophomore year. He's figuring it out. Defense have figured him out, so now he has to learn how to figure them out. There's still some things he needs to adjust on. He still had a bad interception where he didn't read that the safety was coming over the top. There's still some pre-snap audible adjustments that he didn't make that I would like to see him read better. But at the end of the day, he played smart. He, threw those lasers. He got everybody involved, which he does a good job of. But at the end of the day, I think it just came down to the Lions having a balance. LaSure and Bell had a good game. Together, they combined for nearly 100 rushing yards. And as I said again, the whole receiving crew stepped up, from Titus Young to Brandon Pettigrew to Tony Scheffler to Ryan Broyles. Calvin Johnson only had 3 receptions, 46 yards, and had a couple drops, which were very disturbing. Hopefully he can figure that out because, like I said, that was very disturbing in itself. And big shout out to the defense, not necessarily the defense, but I was very proud of Silva, who came in my opinion, made a key interception late in the fourth quarter, that gave the Lions their chance to win the game. So big shout out to the Lions defense. They stuck there. They definitely, made Seattle struggle a couple times. They didn't play great, but they played solid. But Silva, to me, made that game-winning interception that gave the Lions their chance to win the game. So big shout out to Silva because he played well. But hopefully, the Lions can just continue this. Like I said, it doesn't stop with this. They need to continue this on because, like I said, I think if they continue this on, they're going to be successful. This looked like the old Lions team of last year, but not maybe even a little better just because they finally got a running game going. In the past, it might have been Stafford throwing for 452 yards instead of 352 just for the main fact we didn't have a running game. And like I said, in this game, Bell and LaSure nearly combined for 100 yards off of 17 carries. So definitely just something I like to see with the Lions. But moving on next week, continue it on, get better. Maybe next time you won't have to come back. You start off strong and get rid of the flags. That was something else that hurt them early on with stupid penalties. Still seeing a lot of undiscipline by the team. But at the end of the day, I think if you fix those things, you're gonna be okay. And then finally, the Monday night game that's going down between the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm picking San Francisco to win this game, but it's still going to be an interesting game to watch, no question. I'm looking forward to seeing the quarterbacks, but I want to see how Alex Smith is going to play. He's been iffy. The San Francisco team goes by him, so I really want to see how he's going to play. If he's going to turn the ball over, if he's going to get the right receivers involved early. That's something that they tend to do. When they do lose, they don't tend to get people like Crabtree, like Vernon Davis involved quickly enough, and it starts to become a problem. But with the Cardinals, they basically have no threat of a run game. So basically, San Francisco has the option of playing mostly coverage schemes, and the 49ers have an excellent secondary, which is physical and excels at press technique. So the corners can jam Arizona's receivers, including Larry Fitzgerald, off the snap and really disrupt their route. So I'm really going to be paying attention to that. And then that either leads to more for pass rush to get there or coverage sacks. So I'm really going to be looking at the defense for 49ers to really kind of take this game over. But I also want to see how Arizona's going to go against it. Like I said, the 49ers can play their safeties back in some cover 2 looks and give the corners deep help because they do not have to play close to the line of scrimmage to stop the run, which, like I said, Cardinals have no run threat, at least not from what I've seen. So I'm looking for 49ers to also change up their coverage and pretty much some pre-snap confusion for the quarterback, which should be interesting to see if John Skelton can read that and just see how John Skelton handles it. He's still considered to be a young guy, so I really want to see how he's going to handle it. But that is what I'm going with this game. But as I said, I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game, no question. So once again, thank you for tuning in this segment of Sports Talk with L-Beasley. I hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to let me know if you agree, you disagree. It's always someone who agrees, it's always someone who disagrees. So be sure to let me know your comments. If you have a topic you want me to discuss that I didn't get a chance to discuss, whether it's a player, a coach, a team, or a sport for that matter, just let me know. I'm always happy to honor my fans' requests to discussing a topic. If you want to be a guest on my show, be sure to let me know. Sports Talk with L-Beasley has gone Skype, so all you have to do is let me know. All my contact information is on the end at the credits. If you want me to be a guest on your show, I've been getting invited to be guests on other people's shows. Let me know. Always happy to network and meet new people and give my opinions on other people's shows and whatnot. So definitely let me know. If you want to be a guest on your show, always happy to do that as well. Go check out MoneyballSportswear.com. They're a huge supporter of Sports Talk with L-Beasley and me, just Lauren Beasley, period. So definitely go check out MoneyballSportswear.com. If you love Under Armour, you love Nike, you're going to love MoneyballSportswear.com. So go check them out. The only way to ball is Moneyball. Once again, thank you for tuning in. This will not be the last time you see my face. You'll actually see me tomorrow, hopefully, because my prediction's right. I'll be happy and say, I was right. But at the end of the day, you'll see me tomorrow to discuss that Monday Night Football game and whatever else is going on in the world of sports. Once again, Tigers. I'm sorry y'all lost. Congratulations to San Francisco Giants. But at the end of the day, Giants. Tigers, learn from your mistakes. Hopefully we can get there next year and get us some type of ring. Please. Lord have mercy, these Detroit teams. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow.